Welcome to episode 155 of Not the Podcast You Deserve. This is one of our episodes where you can see us, maybe.
Hey,
I'm wearing a
What?
Whataburger sweatshirt. They're not sponsoring us. I just really want them to. Robert is wearing a Hufflepuff t-shirt.
well, that's because I'm very proud of my Hufflepuff roots.
Yes.
We should have more proud Hufflepuffs in the world.
Do we? And Drue Allen is here.
Unbranded,
You can see
but
it. Unbranded.
you may purchase that for a pretty penny.
Yeah,
literally
Anchor
one
doesn't
penny.
Sponsor these episodes. So,
They're very
We'll
cheap.
take any at this point, any cash.
Yeah. Speaking, no, I couldn't even think of a good segue for that. This episode of Not the Podcast You Deserve, we are talking about Disney Channel original movies. We are going to draft the best ones, and at the end, we're going to figure out who's got the best team. Now, if you just ask yourself, what's a Disney Channel original movie? That means you were born in the 2000s. And get out of here. We don't have time for that. There's not enough time to explain DCOM to you. But for all of us that are 90s and late 80s babies, growing up, I watched Disney Channel original movies all the time. And I loved them. And when I was going through the list of all these movies, I forgot about how many great ones there were that I watched
Yeah.
so many times.
Amazing one.
Yeah. So when I was trying to rank mine, figure out which ones I draft where, I was like, I'm leaving so many on the cutting room floor, and I'm sad about it. But I guess I'll have to make do. Last draft we did, Crawford had the starting pick. Then it was Drue Allen and Kyle. So this week, Drue Allen is bumped up to pick number 1. I've got pick number 2, and Crawford's got pick number 3. We'll do 4 rounds. The only rule is it has to be a Disney Channel original movie. You can't pick just some movie that was on the Disney Channel at some point or that Disney made
Yeah,
or whatever.
Lion King is straight out.
Yeah, that's not. We're not talking about that.
Yeah,
you know?
Princess Diaries, while appearing several times on Disney Channel, went to theaters and then came to Disney Channel.
Yes.
These are movies that went directly to Disney Channel, and boy, did I not understand that was the original streaming service for children.
Right, 100%. We're talking about low budget, bad acting, wonderful movies. It has to be a DCOM movie. So, maybe any questions before we get started?
Can it be 4?
Yes, it can be 4.
Yes.
Crawford,
so good.
It's around Flag Day.
Oh, I was about to ask if it was around Flag Day.
Drue Allen, the first pick of the DCOM draft. Who are you going with?
So much power. I don't even know. Let me check my notes real quick. Okay. Since we have specified specifically Disney Channel original, I'm going to have to cross out my number 1, Material Girls. Though starring Hilary Duff, technically does not fall under the umbrella.
She's in a couple, though.
We will allow Cadet Kelly, though.
Yes. Cadet Kelly makes it.
That's tough. It's a real Cadet Sophie's choice. I don't know if that works with the joke or not. But I will go with my number 1 seed of the inaugural 2023 Disney Channel Original Movie Draft with Now You See It. Now You Don't. It's no longer on the board. That's right. The Magic...
What?
You've never seen this? Have y'all not seen this movie? It's the best one.
I have seen it, but I didn't think it was the best one. I do think that you picked it just so you could follow it up with the pun.
It was heavily leaning towards pun route.
I've never heard of this one.
Have you? Okay.
I assume it deals with magic.
You're wrong, and you're right there. But it.
So what a confusing title, if not.
Yes. No. It's a phenomenal movie about these. I want to say 6 to 8 magicians get chosen to come to the magician's house.
Talking about the Jesse Eisenberg movie?
No.
Woody Harrelson?
Now You See Me?
Mark Ruffalo?
No. Now You See Me Too? No. Also no. This is a Disney Channel original movie that introduced me to magic, and so is very high up on the list. It's one of the first ones I saw. It has a little scary elements to it, which, looking through the list of Disney Channel original movies, there's a lot of Halloween-related Disney Channel original movies.
Yep.
And I have to believe they just had one Halloween set they spent a lot of money on and just had to reuse it over and over again. But this one allows me to hit that scary element if y'all take all the good.
I no
horror
longer want to
movies.
hear you talk about this movie I've never heard of. That makes me upset that was the number one pick. I'm now angry at you. You're you're now the Houston Texans. That makes me mad at you.
So I will say this though. I think having Drue on the podcast, who's a couple of years younger than us, we're going to get exposed to a couple that we don't know as well.
Good
because our peak DCOM age was probably in that 9 to 10 to 11 range, which would have been 3-4 years ahead of him. So we're going to get some on the back end that maybe impacted him differently.
Your math is blowing my mind right now. What should have obviously been the number one pick is Brink with an exclamation point. One of the greatest movies ever made. Rollerblading cool, something that no one thought possible. I watched it last night. It's incredible. It's so much fun. Brink, number one pick, and I feel great about it.
Dang it. I absolutely love Brink. And how dare you? Thank you for acknowledging that it's Brink with an exclamation point.
You're going to emphasize.
Making inline skating, not rollerblading, and middle parts. Cool. Very cool.
My bad.
Team Pup and Suds. Huge.
Team Pup and Suds forever.
Yeah.
Team Pup and Suds for life.
When that guy showed up later in the Princess Diaries, and I was like, oh, it's Team Pup and Suds. Yeah. So you stole my pick.
Sure.
How dare you?
Yeah.
I, with my first pick, rounding out the first round, will go with Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
In classic Disney Channel original movie way of thinking, they take all of the non-major sports and make a great movie out of it. And I'm sure we'll talk about some more later on. But the fact that we already have a rollerblading movie and a surfing/snowboarding movie off the board is pretty exciting.
I hate to be this guy, but both of your first round draft picks were not on my board at all.
My second one, Phantom of the Megaplex.
No!
May make you think is Phantom of the Opera, but it's not. It takes place in a theater.
Dang it. It takes place in a megaplex. It's very clear.
That's very true. Yeah. It's
Mickey Rooney.
I'm so glad because I was scared Crawford, you specifically, would take this one, which is why I got to spring on it early. It feels like a scary movie that you can handle. So I got to make sure that you don't take that from me.
Just really kind of feels like y'all are playing for last place here because not only did you hand me Brink on a silver platter, you also left The Luck of the Irish for me to pick up in the second round.
How dare you?
Gosh.
Yeah.
How dare you?
The second best DCOM movie of all time. So who knew Lassie was such a good actor?
That movie haunts me to this day.
It's so good.
There's also Henry Gibson, who's the pastor in Wedding Crashers and also the Nazi in Blues Brothers. Very different roles.
Wow, same guy.
Same guy.
Glass shattering moment. Never look at him the same again.
I will say this, though. I thought for sure I was going to get both of those in later rounds. I thought that they were going to slide under the radar. I didn't think anybody remembered Phantom of the Megaplex. That little kid screaming, "The Phantom of the Megaplex strikes again!" That was...
Yeah.
Golly. And then my parents were like, you should go see Phantom of the Opera. And I was like, why would you ruin my favorite DCOM? It's just upsetting. Man, now I don't know what's safe and what's not.
What makes you think?
Dang. Well, I'll take my other sport movie off the board, and that's gonna be Alley Cat Strike.
Whoa.
Nice.
Whoa. I'm starting to think that we all watched very different DCOM movies growing up. Because I don't remember liking that one.
That was great.
Obviously the bowling one where the girl spins it at the end and they just push it down and they
she like doesn't do anything the whole movie, but then she picks up the 7-10 split at the very end by spinning it and kind of slightly blowing on it and letting it boop boop. And I was like, it's beautiful. The tension in that moment. They really drag it out. It's the longest bowling lane in America. The 45 seconds that is going slowly down the track.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've got Johnny Tsunami and Alley Cat Strike. I'm rounding out everybody's favorite hobbies right now: surfing, snowboarding, and bowling.
Wow, we're really just all over the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see this coming.
Now, I'm going to throw this one out there, and if y'all bat it back because it's kind of more of a bigger movie, I understand that. But it's also could be the biggest Disney Channel original movie, and that's High School Musical.
You son of a gun. God damn.
I didn't know if it was going to count or not.
Well,
Oh, 100%.
I'll pitch it to y'all. It's on
100%.
Wikipedia. Okay.
I'll allow it.
The first two are DCOM movies. The third one was released to theaters, so it's not
Interesting,
a DCOM
interesting.
movie. Yeah.
Now, the second one was the most watched Disney Channel original movie ever. But I'm going to go with the first one. It introduces us to Troy Bolton, to Gabriella, and
What about us? What about everything we've been through?
and I don't want to stick to the status quo, so I'm going with
about
one,
trust?
not two.
You know I never wanted
I
to hurt you.
need to make a confession that I didn't see this movie
No.
until about 3 years ago.
I bet it was better. I bet it was better
Really?
now.
It was specifically one of those things where I never saw it when I was of the age to see it, and then didn't care about it. And then at one point it got weird if I was to be like, you know what, really want to go back and see what Troy Bolton's all about. So I had to wait till it became ironically funny for me to go back and see it again.
Nice.
It's a
That's
very
funny.
specific time frame.
Yeah.
So I was with somebody that was one of their favorite movies, and they're like, "You've never seen it? Turn it on now." And I was like, "All right."
I don't want to, but okay.
I need to ask you guys a question. If there was one DCOM movie that very clearly spawned The Incredibles, Sky High,
No.
and Encanto,
Stop
what
it.
would that movie be?
I thought I was gonna get it. That's why I went with the "How
I
dare
thought
you get
Sky
up
High
and away."
was what you were thinking.
How
Up
dare you
and
take up
away.
and away from me?
Up and Away. I watched it again last night. Incredible movie. It's so good. It's so good. And you don't get The Incredibles without this movie. You don't get Sky High without this movie. You don't get Encanto without this movie. It's the same thing. They took this movie. They're like, what if we put more money and better acting into it? And there we have it. There we have The Incredibles. Up and Away
I can see it.
it's a treasure. It's a masterpiece. It may be the perfect movie. It's definitely the perfect DCOM movie. I watched it last night. I laughed. I cried. I had a great time. It's a beautiful story about family, about finding yourself, about accepting yourself. It's also got the cameo from that kid who grows up to be a pretty good actor. Can't remember his name. The dad goes on to be a very successful filmmaker. I think he actually directed this movie as well. This movie's great. This movie's great, and I had to steal it now because I had a feeling that I had a feeling it would be on Crawford's list.
It was next.
Up and Away.
And
Classic.
I'm upset. I'm
Yeah.
very upset.
You should be. It's no one's fault but your own. You picked Alley Cat Strike.
I thought that you wouldn't know that movie. I thought it would have slipped
you
your
thought
radar.
wrong. Oh,
And
wrong.
I
Very
love
wrong.
when you started the premise and you said, it's very low budget movies, or DCOM. I'm imagining the pitch for Up and Away, and they're like, but we need a kryptonite-like substance, but also something that we have so much of. It can't be anything fancy. And it's like,
It's
tinfoil?
foil. There's superheroes in their kryptonite.
can afford
is
so much of
tinfoil.
that.
They literally get foiled again. Like, yeah.
Right there.
Okay.
That
I
was
hate
worse on
myself.
camera.
I hate myself. I hate
Yeah.
you. I hate you more is what happened.
That seems fair.
I'm going to take... So, Drew Allen alluded to it earlier, talking about how there was like one scary set, and then they were like, here, we just got to use it all the time. And
man.
I mean, it started like the original DCOM movie was under wraps, right? Like the first thing they did was a scary movie, quote unquote. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's like because Disney was like, we can make scary movies for children and like nobody else can. But I do remember the first time being scared in a movie was actually in a DCOM movie that I hope nobody steals later. But I will go... No, I will not. I will go with the original Halloween Town for my third pick.
Solid pick.
And they always come up with movies around Halloween. I don't know if it's because it's just a gimmicky holiday. Kids are all hyped up on candy, and there's a lot of like tropes you can play on and make fun little movies about it. But Halloween Town grabbed my imagination as a kid. I thought that would be like such a cool place to visit, and like, can you imagine if that was real? Oh my gosh! And I loved it.
I don't think I'd ever want to visit that town. I'd like to stay far away from that town.
It also spawned like 3 more movies.
Sure.
That's how you know it's good. All right, so that's my third pick. So Drew Allen, what do you got rounding this off?
Oof, this is tough. Our final choice. And I didn't expect to get here with all 4 of my original choices, but I think y'all made a good point in that my Disney Channel was a little bit after your Disney Channel. So I'm fighting for a little bit different prize here, but still on the board we have. Let's see here. My mom's got a date with a vampire.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's see here. Smart House is still on the board. That's
Hey man,
incredible.
hey bro.
Xenon Girl of the 21st Century, Cheetah Girls, Cadet Kelly. I know Kyle's going for Cadet Kelly. Should I take it from him?
Motorcrossed.
Oh,
Motorcrossed. That could be a solid
Full Court Miracle.
I will choose the most Disney Channel original movie with the Even Stevens movie, a movie based on a Disney Channel original show, if you will. To this day, I cannot forget. I did forget her name and her character's name, but there's a girl on there who chases a squirrel with a spear because there's one peanut on the island and they're really starving. And I think that tells you how much this movie meant to me.
Guys, this is a weird place for me to be in because all my top 4 are there for me, and I really want to take my 4th one just to knock out the 4 I wanted. But Jumping Ship is staring right at me at my 7th slot. Do y'all remember that one with the Lawrence brothers?
The Lawrence brothers.
Oh, it's staring me right in the face.
Double Dutches?
What?
That's gotta kick it up.
Jump in, I think.
Jump in.
The 13th year. Another good one. No, I got to do it because I love Jumping Ship. That was such a good movie. Xenon Girl of the 21st Century, also great. But guys, Captain Jennifer Watts from Armageddon is only in one DCOM movie that I'm aware of, and I reserve the right to be wrong on that if someone wants to check me. And that's Smart House. So Smart House is rounding out my team, and oh my gosh, is my team stacked. Brink, The Luck of the Irish, Up and Away, and Smart House. You idiots, let me take the 4 best movies. What? How dumb are you? Incredible.
I blame this on drafting order because you took 3 of mine moments before I would take them. Smart House is the one that I do have a note next to of being the first time I remember being scared in a movie. When she freaks out at the end and the house, like the hologram mom is like mad. And the mom from Sons of Anarchy, which is hilarious that those are the 2 roles I think of her as. But when she freaks out and like the kids are scared and stuff is flying everywhere, I was like, that's the most terrifying thing I can think of. Like a scary home life. Disney Channel, you're supposed to cradle me from this. You're supposed to protect me.
Watts is there.
You were the chosen one.
You were the chosen one.
All right, Crawford, pick Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior. Let's get out of here.
Wow, no, absolutely not.
That a movie?
There is a.
Yeah.
How old are you? I'm so confused. I thought you were born in '94. I must be wrong.
Well, I wasn't.
I mean, there's Xenon Girl of the 21st Century, which was the first movie that taught me it was okay to feel. And there's the Cheetah Girls, always great.
Strong.
Under Wraps, the original DCOM. Full Court Miracle, the first one about Hanukkah. Big time. And then, but I am gonna go with Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
Good one.
Nice.
It was so great. Again, leaning into kind of the spooky, scary side that DCOM's, it's spooky, but it's also safe. It's like a childhood adventure as they got to go source out if he really is a vampire or they just don't want their mom to be dating somebody,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah,
And
there's a
kids
lot.
coming together to save the day. I still remember the scene where the kid is like convinced at the restaurant that he's not a vampire. He like
Yeah.
finally comes to terms with it. Then he turns around and looks in the mirror and there's
Yeah.
no reflection. I was like, ah!
That's a good
Yes,
one. Yeah.
he did it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. That movie really embedded itself in my memory as a child. So I've got Johnny Tsunami, Alley Cat Strike, can't remember. Oh, Halloween Town, and then Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. I'm pretty proud of mine as well.
You're wrong, but I love your enthusiasm. Can I point out something? I don't think we've mentioned these yet. Do y'all remember Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off?
Oh
No.
no.
Where the kid's gotta decide between like playing baseball to make his dad happy or to cook, which is what makes him happy or something. Miracle in Lane 2, pretty sure that was Frankie Muniz as a small child.
Yeah, doing like boxcar derby driving.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Speaking of sports that no one cares about, the 13th year, swimming and diving.
Nice.
There is a cameo in the 13th year that I think about like once a year, which is usually when my wife makes me watch Twilight. But a very young Kristen Stewart is the little girl waiting in line at the water fountain when he's sitting there just drinking all of the water because he's a mermaid. Merman?
Merman Pop. Merman.
True Confessions, when we figured out that Shia LaBeouf was actually a great actor. Man, so many good DCOM movies. And only 12 slots, and somehow one of them was Now You See Me, a movie starring Jesse Eisenberg and Mark Ruffalo.
It's
And I-
crazy how wrong you can be live.
I'm going to go watch
on
it tonight.
air.
I'll go watch it tonight.
Well,
Do you-
Tell me I
Do
won't.
you guys remember the little thing that they would have all the actors do, drawing
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ears
Yeah.
in the corner?
Yeah.
course.
So awesome. I thought that was amazing.
Wow, what a segue. If we've pulled this off and this video works and Tiff, Mayesta Tiff on Instagram has done what I had commissioned her to do, that will be at the beginning and the end of this video, which you can watch on Spotify podcasts. And I think that's pretty much it. Or Spotify and YouTube, and I think that's pretty much it. Guys, anything else before we get out of here?
I'm
What's
really
the
glad nobody
last-
picked Camp Rock.
Yeah, not my
I was going to
bag.
ask you, what's the last Disney Channel original movie you remember watching? Because I'm looking on here, and they go up to 2021 with
High School
Zombies
Musical
1, 2,
2
and 3.
was like the last one that I remember
Which one?
watching. High School Musical 2.
yeah.
They made 90 movies in between 1998 and 2011.
incredible.
90 Disney Channel original movies from 98 to 2011. That's incredible. That's insane.
Good for them.
And 4 of them are really good, and they're on my team. It's incredible.
So I left it off the board.
Man,
Sorry,
I'm
Rufus.
still so mad about Up, Up, and Away. That was, I thought for sure that was my sleeper pick. I was like, that is going to slide in. I'm going to blow
sure did.
everybody's brain because they're not going to remember that movie and how amazing it was, founding my love for superheroes.
Is that where it started? Like, honestly, might be.
I mean, yeah.
I probably saw that around the same time I saw the original Superman, you know? That might have been it. It was one of the best movies of all time. Go watch it again
So good.
on Disney Plus. It's great.
Mm.
Listener and viewer for this episode, thank you for tuning in to Not the Podcast You Deserve this week. Next week we'll be back doing, I don't know, something different. We'll catch you next time.